things heat up as Netanyahu indicted, while Trump declares war on the Queen. The battle of the planet Earth has heated up again as mass-murdering Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is indicted, while US President Donald Trump declares war on Queen Elizabeth. Economic and information warfare between the US and China is heating up too, especially over Asian gold and the recent American lithium grab in Bolivia. This is a part of the ongoing battle for the control of international financial system raging between the Gnostic Illuminati and an alliance of Asian and European lawyers. Let us first look at the battle for control of the Anglo-Saxon world that is flaring between Trump and the British Empire. Here Pentagon sources say Trump is declaring war on the Queen not just for spying and trying to remove him from power, but also for pedophilia, murder, and other heinous crimes of the royal family. British royal family sources are saying that while traditionally they try to keep a stiff upper lip and stay above the fray, they are seriously thinking of hiring lawyers to sue for libel over recent such allegations against them. The public battle is centered around Prince Andrew and his connection to pedophile blackmailer Jeffrey Epstein and an alleged affair with 7-year-old girl.
Pedophile Prince Andrew, or Randy Andy, is so toxic. He has been or is about to be dumped by British Telecom, Standard Chartered, Barclays, Stereos Philanthropic Foundation, Bosch, Seco, and Salesforce, TV Azteca, Inmarsat, KPMG, AstraZeneca, AirAsia, Woodside Petroleum, and even Chinese companies like the Bank of China, the China Construction Bank, JD.com, Tencent, and the Leica Xing Foundation, the Pentagon sources say. The Queen has also publicly dismissed Andrew from all official royal activities. A European royal close to the Queen said, "I wouldn't be too surprised if the affair seriously damaged the monarchy. The Queen is no longer in supreme control of the monarchy and court of St. James. For insiders, it's very dangerous now. The real battle, of course, is over control of the Anglo-Saxon navies," agreed Pentagon and MI6 sources. Here, the Trump putsch began with the firing of Secretary of the Navy Richard Spencer for insubordinations, and may be followed by Obama flag official holdovers, as Donald has won the loyalty of war fighters and special ops forces needed to take down the Zionists in the deep state, Pentagon sources say. MI6 sources, for the part, say, "There seems to be a lot of infighting now in the attempts to shrink the queens of things like CIA, US DOD, etc. So this latest fiasco may be an expression of all this." In a sign of just how serious a battle this is, the Pentagon sources say, since the Vice Admiral Andrew won't be extradited and may hide behind the diplomatic immunity, he may be renditioned by the US military, since the Queen is also Commander-in-Chief of US forces. Needless to say, such an operation would be tantamount to a declaration of war. The battle to control the US and UK navies is also just one aspect of the bigger battle for control of the financial system. Trump is on the warpath against European and Asian royals because they are about to state a simultaneous recalibrations of the forex and sovereign debt markets on a global level, according to European royal. Trump is attempting to counter this by going after the $29 trillion Indonesian gold fraud carried out by the Federation Reserve Board at the time of the Laban crisis, according to CIA sources in Asia. According to the CIA, during the financial crisis, the New York Fed was given unprecedented powers by the Federal Reserve Board of Governors in Washington, D.C., to create over $29 trillion in electronically engineered money to bail out the Wall Street. A significant portion of $29 trillion went to prop up many of the central banks around the world. In his counterattack, Trump's soon-to-be next move is that the Green Hilton Memorial Agreement signed by then-President John F. Kennedy and President Suharto at Geneva in November 1963 becomes a reality. Trump can, with a stroke of his pen by Executive Order, reinstate Executive Order 11110 or an amendment thereof, thus allowing the Department of Treasury to issue the new United States dollars. This may be the reboot of the US dollars as Trump leaves the debt of the Federal Reserve to be restored by the actual owners, the Khazarian Zenith Cable. The CIA says. The European lawyer commented that if that is the extent of the received intelligence at the CIA, then we have a long way to go with them. Individual nation states such as America would obviously be prevented from going it alone because of the inherent independence in the whole thing. But the plan is to migrate away from fiat to access black currency. That part is correct, yes. Trump, meanwhile, is also attacking Wall Street, according to the Pentagon sources. After the failed IPOs of WeWork, Lyft, and Uber, greedy Wall Street is unable to make up money from the pump and dump Aramco IPO, as the top dogs like JP Morgan's and Goldman Sachs face DOJ criminal enterprise investigations along with Boeing, General Electric, and other corporate miscreants, the sources say. So the Aramco, of course, is key to the support of the Rockefeller petrodollar. On this front, the Pentagon sources note, the Canada Pension Plan Investment Board, the Russian oil company Lukoil, the Malaysian national oil company Petronas all say no to Aramco, leading other pensions like the Japan Pension Investment Fund and state-owned oil companies like Rosneft, PetroChina, Sinopec, Gazprom, Petrobras, and Britannia to follow. Trump has also seized Japan's $1.5 trillion national pension fund to keep the U.S. government afloat, according to CIA sources in Asia. That is why the fund stopped disclosing how it allocated its assets for the fiscal quarter ending in September, that is, at the time the U.S. government needed money to pay its bill. Where is the real money that all the Japanese worked for all these years? When the market crashes, as very close to doing, there go all the computer entries. I presume it's nearly the same with all the government pensions funds. The game is about over. It's how the CIA sources explain the situation. The other thing the Trump forces are doing is physically detaining and killing, or else imprisoning political enemies. That's why, as far as we can tell, all recent appearances by Barack Obama, George Soros, Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff, etc. are computer graphics. It's getting hard to tell, but for example, if you look at the 1:30 to 1:50 second mark on this video of a recent TV appearance by Nancy Pelosi, you can see from her eyes that she is a computer-generated image. The attacks are going both ways. Trump ally Benjamin Netanyahu was finally indicted on corruption charges last week. Pentagon sources say he's trying to negotiate a plea bargain by threatening to tell the world what he knows about the Fukushima mass murder attack against Japan. Also, Trump lawyer and ally Rudolph Giuliani has publicly been saying that he might be killed but that he was insurance. Presumably, he's talking about what he knows about the 11th September, since he was mayor of New York at the time of the attacks. Then, of course, there was the attempt poisoning of Trump earlier this month, as reported by several alternative news outlets. What's interesting about this battle between the Knox-side Illuminati and their man Trump versus the world royals is that both seem to support the creation of a meritocratically staffed future planning agency. Russian President Vladimir Putin publicly came out last week and said the future planning agency-based system pioneered by Japan and Singapore, and which is now used by China, is superior. The aggregate performance of Chinese economy is a lot more efficient than that of other major economies, including the American one. Putin put the VTB Capital Investment Forum Russia calling on Wednesday. I think that to a major extent, this causes the concerns of our U.S. friends, and they explain the restrictions imposed on China, Putin said, adding that the U.S. sanctions were a result of this fact, not of the disparity in the trade balance. The key to China's success, according to Putin, was a unique symbiosis between the centralized planning and the market economy. The White Dragon Society has long promoted the establishment of the World Future Planning Agency, eliminated and improving upon the Asian central planning hybrid model that Putin is praising. If such an agency was set up with an annual budget of $1 trillion or more, it could end poverty and stop environmental destructions within a matter of months. After that, it could consult with the people of the world about how to turn this planet into the paradise it is meant to be. The agency could also oversee a sort to plot shared transitions of the military-industrial complex. Following this, it could carry out an expansion of human and Earth life into the universe. Instead of running the planet on the current Western system of perpetual conflict, we can start making love, not war. Remember, the battle of evolution isn't won by the lion that is fighting and risking injury or death. It's won by the lion that is back in his cave making love.